what's up? Welcome back to another episode. So we've had a few days with the PlayStation 5 Pro, and I wanted to kind of do an impressions video. I'm not going to go into showing gameplay because there's just no point. The compression rate on YouTube, when it compresses videos down, it's not going to show what I'm seeing when you play a PlayStation 5 Pro enhanced game. I've also got a capture card. It says it's 4K Ultra HD, but it's really not. It's really not. So I was going to make the video and go through all the gameplay, but it just wouldn't be any benefit of. I genuinely think that with the build up to the PlayStation 5 Pro, all these people posting videos on X and YouTube, it's really, unless you're watching it on like a brand new iPhone 16 Max or whatever, or YouTube, you can get. I don't understand how it works. I'm not going to pretend like I do, but I know that YouTube compresses its videos down. So does Twitter. So what you're seeing isn't the same as what I'm seeing when I'm playing the actual game. It was the same when Mark Cerny announced the PlayStation 4 Pro, and he did it in like an amphitheater with an audience full of people, of media and whatnot, and investors, and everyone else like myself was watching it or live streaming it on YouTube or Twitch. And the only people that are going to benefit from seeing that are the people that are sat there watching it with their own eyes. So I do think it's something that you have to behold and see. So with that said, I'm just going to talk about the games that I've played on the Pro. So these are all the games on the PlayStation 5 Pro. I'm going to go through them, all the ones that I've played, and talk about them individually, I suppose. Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered is absolutely phenomenal. You can have 60 FPS and the fidelity at the same time, and I really do see a noticeable difference in that game, just the smoothness and the lighting and the colours, and it really does blow your mind when you do see it up close. Before we go any further, some of these games have got like a Pro enhanced mode, some of them have got balance mode, some of them let you still pick fidelity or performance or balanced, but the performance usually has the boosted frame rate and visuals as well. When you go to fidelity mode, it does boost the fidelity a bit, but the frame rate is just 30 again, so it is a little bit sort of like, I think developers are going to have to really sort of find a way to work out the wordage and a bit of more of a clear way to be like, okay, that's the Pro version, that's the Pro setting. But I find that if it just says Pro setting or enhanced Pro or whatever, that's usually pretty straightforward. Call of Duty Black Ops 6, it says it's enhanced, but I genuinely don't see a difference in it. But Black Ops looks pretty decent anyway, but I don't know why it's on here because it doesn't really have any enhanced settings. The thing with Black Ops or any Call of Duty, it now has a thing where it has like graphical cache download, and if you've got more space on your hard drive, you can have it set to large, so you can have daily download limits off and cache set to large. God of War Ragnarok has a Pro enhanced mode, really impressive, smooth frame rate, really nice visuals, one of the really good looking games on the Pro, really noticeable as well. As is Last of Us Part 1 and 2. Before you even boot the game up, it says, would you like to activate Pro enhanced mode? And it's night and day. It just looks a little bit better, but it has the smooth frame rate. I think the thing you notice most is the smoother frame rate and the fidelity is up as well. Fortnite runs at 120 FPS and it looks like Fortnite, but it's I suppose a nice looking version of Fortnite. Demon's Souls I was really surprised with. I was kind of blown away by, I think it is one of the nicest looking games on the Pro. It has Pro mode, it has balanced, enhanced, fidelity. Just wait till you sort of finish and get settled there. Demon's Souls has fidelity, performance, or a Pro mode, and I can't believe how good Demon's Souls looks on the Pro. It's a launch game for the PlayStation 5, and I was like, how can this game look any better on the Pro? And it blew my mind how good it looks. It just looks fantastic. Horizon Forbidden West, again, fucking amazing. Really impressive with the fidelity and the frame rate. It really just looks awesome. Star Wars Outlaws was quite disappointing because with the original version, you had fidelity mode or performance mode. With this version, there isn't a setting at all. It's just running on the PlayStation Pro version. I'm actually in an area on that game in Tatooine where it's dark, so I'm not really seeing a lot of like color pops or any kind of like the lighting or anything. So maybe that's why I'm not that impressed with it. I'll have to continue playing the game to see, but wasn't a huge massive difference in my opinion. So that's Star Wars Outlaws. Again, not played any of the sports games. Alan Wake 2 looks great. Again, better frame rate, better fidelity. Got the DLC to finish on there, so I was quite impressed with that so far. Dragon's Dogma 2. Dragon's Dogma 2 is a little bit of a weird one because it lets you activate 120 FPS mode. It has another setting that says, do you want to hit 30 or do you want to hit variable? It doesn't hit 120, I can guarantee that. And then it's got fidelity, and you can have performance up as well, or high frame rate mode as well. So the frame rate goes up, but the fidelity doesn't look that much better. So that's another one that was kind of disappointing for me. Silent Hill 2, really disappointed with Silent Hill 2. Great game, finished it the other week, but the pro version, it just, I suppose, a lot of people complaining about stuttering and stuff. I didn't really see it on my playthrough, but yeah, it doesn't really do anything for the fidelity. The frame rate's just a little bit better, so I wasn't blown away by Silent Hill 2 on the Pro, if I'm being honest. Not even played Baldur's Gate, but I downloaded it and started playing it just to see what it was like, and the game, again, doesn't have a setting. It's just running at the best version, and the game looks fantastic. Like, smooth frame rate, high fidelity. Really impressed with that one as well. Same with Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy has 4 settings. It's like fidelity, balanced performance, and then high frame rate performance. So tried them all. High frame rate performance is the best one. Really smooth frame rate. I don't know if it's 120 or anything like that. Not tried Rebirth, but I've heard really good things about Rebirth, that it's night and day. No Man's Sky looks phenomenal. Smooth frame rate, really bright, popping colours. Just visual fidelity looks great as well. And, you know, I've tried it in VR. Going to talk a little bit about VR after this section, because I've got a lot to say on the VR. I tried a few VR games yesterday. You're going to fall off here. Resident Evil 4. Very, very, very impressed with Resident Evil 4. So Resident Evil 4, on the original version on the PlayStation 5, you had to sacrifice, like most games, you had to sacrifice performance or fidelity. If you had fidelity mode on, it was a higher fidelity, but it was usually at 30 FPS, so you're sacrificing frame rate. If you had performance on, it was 60 FPS, but you're sacrificing some fidelity. Resident Evil 4 lets you have fidelity mode on, ray tracing on, and high frame rate on, and the game looks absolutely amazing. It's definitely a higher frame rate. It's not 60, but it's definitely like 115 or something like that. The fidelity's good, the ray tracing's good, so the game looks absolutely amazing. Actually going to play through that game again just to see what it looks like when you're playing the whole game. The VR as well is really good. I'll talk more about that in a sec. Same with Resident Evil Village, but you can. It's just, I don't know if it has a setting, but it looks a lot better. It's not as good as Resident Evil 4. The Finals doesn't have a setting again. It's just running at the Pro version. Ray tracing, it's a lot of shininess in that game, like the floors, you can see reflections and stuff. So I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I was blown away by how good it looked. Very smooth fidelity. Not too sure if it's hitting 120 FPS, but I was noticeably different. Dying Light is another game that it's good, but it's got fidelity mode, balanced, and performance. Balanced is, it looks nice, but it's still a bit choppy. Performance, it's like, it still looks nice, but the frame rate's pretty decent. So that was okay. Dead Island 2, again, a game that doesn't have a setting. It doesn't let you flick around and change fidelity and performance. It's just running at the best version of the game. The game is fucking amazing. Like, the game Dead Island is noticeably different with the frame rate and the fidelity. And that's pretty much it. So that is the PlayStation 5 games that I've played, the enhanced games that I've played. And before, like, I should have said this at the start, I'm not Digital Foundry. I don't have a fucking FPS clock. I'm not trying to sort of say that this is going to be, that everyone's going to be able to notice this. A lot of people are different. I've watched a few reviews of people like Solid Rev, who bought the Pro. He's now sending it back. Couldn't really see a lot of difference. The way I look at it is you're sort of future-proofing for the next 10 years. This is apparently going to have a lifespan of 10 years. Whether that's true or not, who knows? But I was quite impressed with some of the stuff that I saw, and it's nice to have the fidelity and the performance running at the same time. Not every game, not every developer has implemented it well, but when the ones that do have absolutely nailed it for me, Horizon, Demon's Souls, Resident Evil. So them kind of games look fantastic. Stellar Blade's supposed to be really good. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth's supposed to be really good as well. So I'm happy with it. I also tried out the PlayStation Portal. Now, when I had the PlayStation Portal on the PlayStation 5, the original PS5, I was getting, not all the time, but I was getting, internet stutters and stuff, and maybe that was just because of the time of day, peak times and whatnot. Now, our internet is fast. It's Virgin Media, it's fast, we get 250, 260 MBS, and we can upgrade it if we wish. Since I've been using it with the Pro, I've not had one single stutter. I think the connectivity works better somehow. I know the Pro's got better Wi-Fi in it, so maybe that's something to do with it, but the games look and run a lot smoother on this as well. Just a personal observation, but that's just my little 2 cents there for you. Want to talk about PlayStation VR and then PlayStation 4 games that I've tried? PlayStation VR, so excited that how this improves PlayStation VR 2. PlayStation VR 2 was obviously so much better than PlayStation VR 1, but PlayStation VR 1 had a huge problem. It was the move controls, the cables, and the fact that it just looked so blurry and grainy. With this, I was playing Resident Evil 4, and I've played No Man's Sky and Resident Evil Village. There's so much detail now in that. It's not like, oh my god, you're playing it like it's in 4K 120 and it's absolutely amazing, but it's like a veil's been lifted off your face, like, and it's just less foggy, and it's less sort of distorted. And I was playing Resident Evil, and it was just like Resident Evil 4, and it really was just like night and day compared to the old PlayStation. I say the old PlayStation VR 2, but the PlayStation VR 2 running through the original PlayStation 5. So I'm very happy with that. I've got a lot of PlayStation VR 2 games in the catalogue that I'm going to try as well. So I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with it. PlayStation 4 games, and I had someone comment on my last video saying, imagine buying a console, £700 console, and only playing PS4 games or something. I was just like, see you later, pal. Try to cover a broad spectrum here. You know, I've got a huge digital library on my PlayStation. I'm one of the people Phil Spencer was talking about. I went to PlayStation and built my digital library. I've got a lot of games, hundreds, maybe over 1,000 games on my PlayStation. So yeah, I want to try and see what these games can do. Now, Mad Max, I've tried Mad Max. Runs at 30 FPS on the PlayStation 5 Pro, and on the Xbox Series X, it runs at 120 FPS. So in many regards, Xbox did the backwards compatibility thing a lot better. Hands down, 100%. Improved the visuals, improves the frame rate, and I don't know how they did it, but it worked really well. Worked really well with a lot of Bethesda games as well. But unfortunately, the backwards compatible side of Xbox is kind of faded away now. They're not really going for it and supporting it. Apparently, the PlayStation 6 is going to be huge into backwards compatibility. And this is just like the start of the PlayStation 5 Pro life cycle. Do you know what I mean? Maybe we're going to get better upgrades for games. You know, Bloodborne was a really big disappointment for me. Visually, it looks slightly, I'd say, you know, if you really looked, it looked slightly better. Frame rate wise, exactly the same. Red Dead Redemption looks a lot better in my opinion. The game looked a lot better. I'm convinced the frame rate's slightly better than, because I played Red Dead Redemption not that long ago, the second game, and the frame rate was awful. And as soon as I rotated that camera, I just deleted it. I was like, I can't play that, it's unplayable. Did the same this time, rotated the camera, and I was like, it's not terrible, but it's not great either. But maybe that's just me, you know, just seeing things that aren't there. Like I say, I'm not a tech guru or a professional. I don't have a FPS clock like Digital Foundry. Mass Effect Trilogy, I think that improves the visuals on there. That's also 60 FPS. Monster Hunter World. Now, Monster Hunter World on the PlayStation 4, on the PS4 Pro at least, you had Fidelity Graphics or Pro. On this one, when you're playing it through the PlayStation 5 Pro, you can have Fidelity and it runs at 60 FPS, which is something that it didn't do on the PlayStation 4 Pro. If you had Fidelity on, it ran at 30 FPS, so you stuck it back to performance mode and has a smoother frame rate. This one, it just runs, unless it's had a PS5 patch, I don't know. God of War, the original God of War game, runs really well on it. I think that might have had a PlayStation 5 patch, but, you know, maybe I'm just clutching at straws with the PlayStation 4 stuff. But maybe it's something that's going to be improved down the line. I don't know. I have no idea. So the PlayStation 5 Pro, like, who's it for? This video isn't like me trying to tell you to buy one. Like, do what you fucking want. I don't give a shit. Do you know what I mean? It's your money. It's your lifestyle. However much you're integrated into video games. If you are playing on multiple systems, if you just either, you know, Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo, or just PC. The whole just buy a PC argument, yes, PC is fantastic. It's always going to be number one. This is more convenient for people that are, you know, I've got a fucking shit-hot PC, but I mainly play on console, because I can't be asked waiting around for these exclusives for a year to land on PC. And when they go to PC, they never fucking work. So PC is not all that good. Do you know what I mean? It's always going to be ahead, but the games, it's the games that the issue. Some of the games just don't run well on PlayStation, on the PC, sorry. But I'm happy with it. You know, the biggest thing one of the great things that I'm happy with is the hard drive space, 2 terabyte hard drive. And you've got people complaining about the PlayStation 5 Pro, And I guarantee some of these people are the same people that bought a Seagate fucking SD card for the PlayStation 5 to expand the memory. And they're about 200, 300 quid. So them people have already thrown down the same price, if not more, for a base PS5 and a fucking memory card upgrade or internal SSD fucking upgrade, whatever it is, the hard drive space. So then people are already 5, 6, 7, 800 pounds out of pocket. So for me, this console is for people like me who want to have the best, who want to see what these new, I just like to have new things. I'm not trying to justify my purchase. I'm happy with it. If it's not for you, great. Don't buy it. There's nothing wrong with the base PlayStation 5. I would say this is for people, for like anyone who hasn't got a PlayStation and who's coming into the PlayStation ecosystem. I would say to them, buy this over the base model because you're future-proofing the console. More enhanced games are going to come down the line. Developers are going to probably maybe be able to implement the enhancements better. We might see an improvement on PlayStation 4 titles, who knows? But it's not like the be-all and end-all, and if it's not for you, great. It's not for everybody. Not everyone has that autistic eye. But I will say that, like, I do think it's generally something you have to see with your own eyes. But I'm very, very pleased with it. I think I had more reason to play and buy it because I have the Portal and the PlayStation VR, so if it was going to improve them, I was already sold on it. The 2TB hard drive I've not filled yet, and I can get a lot more games on there, so I'm not downloading and reinstalling games like I was previously when I had the base model. The base model's downstairs now. That's now just a box that's getting used for Sky TV. So it's all about your life situation, where you are financially, if you can afford it, if it's going to benefit you, if you can trade in your old PlayStation 5 or sell it to your girlfriend for £500 like Dreamcast guy did. You know, it's nobody's got a gun to your head to buy this machine. It's just a nice mid-generation refresh. We've had them countlessly through the years. I don't see why this one's any different. And Christmas is around the corner. A lot of people are going to be looking for a PlayStation upgrade, and I would say that this is going to be a pretty interesting one for them. Who knows? So with that said, that is the PlayStation 5 Pro impressions video. Sorry if the camera's been shaking, it's because of this one here scratching. So that's it for the PlayStation 5 Pro, and that's my impressions on it. I'm really happy with it. And that's all that matters, really. I'm not trying to sway people to buy it. Who gives a shit? You know, who cares? Things can only get better. You know what I mean? It's kind of looking to the future to see what the console's going to do. One of the other reasons why I picked up the Pro is when you look at the transition period between the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5, the PlayStation 4 was still being heavily supported when the PlayStation 5 launched. You can still get games like Black Ops 6 on the PlayStation 4, and people are jumping on it and going, well, why? It looks absolutely terrible. I think they should cut the apron strings with the PlayStation 4. I think it's time to stop supporting it. I think people should be moving forward, not backwards. I understand there's a lot of people that still play on the PlayStation 4, but hopefully with the PlayStation 5 Pro coming out, it's going to reduce the PlayStation 5 base model down in price, so people can then make the jump to PlayStation 5. But when the PlayStation 6 comes out, are they still going to heavily support the PlayStation 5? So most probably yes. I'm also in that kind of mindset of being like, well, I don't necessarily have to rush out and buy a PlayStation 6, because if you look at how much they have supported the PlayStation 4, if they're going to do that with the PlayStation 5, then you're kind of sitting pretty. Do you know what I mean? Until you actually have to invest and buy the PlayStation 6. Maybe it'll be the PlayStation 6 Pro, who knows? So that was just another sort of thinking behind seeing how the transition flowed between generation to generation. Who knows? But with that said, if you'd like to leave a like on the video, please do. If you'd like to leave a subscribe, even better. Notice we have just crossed the threshold of 400 subscribers, so that is great. Thanks very much for any new subscribers that have tuned in and subscribed. Really appreciate it. It kind of spurs me on to make more content, and, you know, kind of gives me a reason to sort of plod on. My confidence is getting a lot better, I feel. It's just finding the time to do it. Do you know what I mean? But got a week off, so a lot more games to play, a lot more games to try out. Maybe I'll do another video coming back and trying some more games. Who knows? And we'll see you on the next video. Take care of yourselves. Adios.